Hello and welcome to this first of 3 tutorials on online delivery, and as you can see, this is level 1. It's for beginners. It's for people that really don't have much confidence or experience of delivering online and are probably more used to delivering in the classroom or in the training room. So what I'm trying to do here is help you transition from being a classroom deliverer or training room deliverer to being a confident and competent deliverer of online courses. And this level 1 session I've called Stand and Deliver because I'm trying to strip back online delivery to become as close as possible to what you may be used to doing in the classroom. All you'll need for this is access to Google Meet, which is the video platform that we use for delivering our online sessions. A PowerPoint slideshow, probably you've used these in the classroom or training room, or indeed a Google slideshow. And finally, you'll need a Google document, and I'll show you how to open one of these and how to share it with the participants in the class so that they can collaborate together on tasks that you may set them, and both you and the students can see the different inputs in real time, as I say. And that Google document at the end of the session can be saved or printed or whatever. It's a permanent record of the collaborations that took place during the session. So let's get started. When you click the link that you'll be given for the Google Meet, the video platform, this is the screen that you'll see. You can see here there are 2 icons. One enables me to turn the camera on and off, the other one to turn my microphone on and off. Once I'm ready, I can join the Meet by clicking here, and that takes me straight into the meeting. Because my camera's off, I'm shown as this J icon here. And so I'll quickly just show you some of the tools that we have available to us in Google Meet. So down at the bottom we have the microphone on and off, the camera on and off, and the little red telephone receiver here is the icon you click to leave the call and leave the meeting. Up at the top right hand corner here, this icon here tells you who's in the meeting. So if I click that, we can see that it's only me here at the moment, and I have the option to add more people. Once the Meet's been set up by Acacia Learning, people will apply to join, and I'll show you how that works in a moment. You don't need to add people yourself. The second feature over here is the chat box, which is one of the most fundamental tools that we use when we're using Meet to deliver our classes. The chat feature can be used by all the participants, by yourself and by the online students. And we can put simple messages in there and hit return, and we have a welcome message at the top there. Incidentally, this chat can be copied and recorded and printed out at the end of the session if you wish. But it's more than just saying hi to each other. I could put in there links that I want my students to follow. So I could put in a link, a web link to BBC Weather or CIPD or Acacia Learning or whatever it is you want to link to. In a moment I'll be showing you how to share your screen, which might for example be your PowerPoint slide. But whilst I'm presenting my slides, I can't see this chat box, so I encourage the students to put any questions or queries that they have into that chat box. And when I pause my presentation every few minutes, I can go back to those queries and questions and answer them in the live video platform. So all the questions will be there, and I can run through them one at a time, answering the student questions, or indeed asking the participants in the class their views on a particular point or question that's been raised. Well, now I'm going to come on to screen sharing, which is again very fundamental to online delivery using Meet. So here we are back in the Meet, and if I click down here, you can see that my tools come back up along the bottom row here. And what I'm going to do now is to present now. And in order to present now, I just click on this little button here. So when I click, it asks me if I want to present my entire screen or a window. Let's keep it simple and we'll do entire screen. And now I have to click here and share. Now, whatever I'm looking at will now be shared with everybody in the meeting. At the moment, it's rather dull because it just shows this screen. But if I come down here, for example, and go down to my PowerPoint slideshow, here it is, and open that one up and go to slideshow from the current slide, everybody in the class can now see this slideshow, this PowerPoint presentation, just as they would in a classroom. And I can talk about each slide. I can progress the slides. So here I can say, this is the slideshow I've made for our session. I'm not going to show you PowerPoint tricks and tips here because that's not the function of the tutorial. But if I go through, you can maybe see how you can still present a PowerPoint slideshow and ask questions just as you might in the classroom. So employee turnover, causes and drivers. Well, we could talk about some of the drivers of employee turnover, or before I reveal this graphic, I could ask the students to put their ideas into that chat box. And then, as before, I can progress the slide, move on to the next slide. And this one's about stages in succession planning. It could be, obviously, anything. So if I go forward again, I can then, every so often in my slideshow, have a slide like this, which asks the students if they have any questions. Again, I can break off the PowerPoint slideshow, end the show, minimize the slideshow again, and I'm back to my Google Meet, where I stop presenting. And here I am back talking to everybody in the meeting, and I'll be able to see each of their video icons on my screen down the right hand side. Still on the subject of screen sharing, I'm going to go back to present now, and up at the top here I've got some tabs open. You may be able to see them, and one of these is the 5CHR assignment. So I don't just have to talk about what's on my slides. I can go back to present, and I can select entire screen as before, share, and now I can click on this tab and up comes the assignment. It says up here I'm presenting to everybody as confirmation, and if I want to stop sharing, right down here at the bottom you may be able to see this blue button. So I can then scroll through the assignment. I've made some comments here for the students, but you don't have to have those. You can simply talk through the assignment stage by stage, assessment criterion by assessment criterion. You can ask for comments or questions either online in the Google Meet or in the chat box. So whenever you share your screen, whatever you want to look at, you can look at it and share with the whole class. A really important function. So I need a new blank Google document. Well, the real power of Google Documents is the ease of collaboration in real time that it allows. So let's call it Task 1, and in this document I'm going to be asking the students to input their ideas. Before I do that, I need to share the document. It's private to me at the moment, so I click on Share and I get a shareable link. This shareable link may be set to anybody with the link can view. I think that's the default view. We want anyone with the link can edit, so just check that, and once you've done that you can copy that link. So there we are, that's been copied, and I can say done. Just going back a stage, if I click share again, I could, before my session begins, enter the names and email addresses of the participants in the class from the register. I won't do that now, obviously, because it takes rather a long time, but you could, if you have time, set that up beforehand. So we'll click done. I've copied the link. Now, I could share that with students before the session begins via email, or, of course, what I can do is go back to my Google Meet and stop presenting, and I can go to the chat box and I can put the link into the chat box like that, and click return, or the little arrow there, and now everybody in the meeting has access to this document and we can work together on it. Of course, you can have any number of documents spaced out throughout your session. You could have task 1, task 2, task 3, and so on. What I find is the best way to go is to prepare a number of tasks before the session begins. So if I now wish to, I can open up a document which has been pre-prepared. And this is one actually that I used last week. And you can see that in this case, students have been inputting their ideas into a table that I created. This is quite a fancy form of task sheet. It doesn't have to be this pretty or this complicated. You can simply put lists or bullet points down and ask students to comment on the individual points. It might be the protected characteristics in the Equality Act or whatever. You can simply put a list of numbers 1 to 9 and ask students collaboratively to fill up the gaps. What's nice is that I can see who's inputting, and different students' cursors will show up as a different coloured text. I can also use the comment box and the chat box to make my suggestions for what they should include that they may have missed already. Remember that Google Docs save automatically, and so there's no need for everybody to keep saving. And at the end of the session, one of the most useful things is that this document is there for all of the students. It will incorporate all of the ideas that they had throughout the session, and they can use that as an aide-memoire or a go-to resource when they sit down to write their assignment. Well, I hope this little introduction has been helpful. It's really very straightforward. All you need, access to the Google Meet, some slides ready to present, some tasks on Google Docs, shared Google Docs that students can collaborate on, and also some tabs open linking to websites or resources such as the CIPD that you can look at together. And don't forget, we had the assignment up there ready to screen share so that we could talk through that. Well, in the Level 2 tutorial, we'll be adding a few more bits and pieces to raise the game a little bit in terms of online delivery. But hopefully, particularly if you're a novice to online delivery, this is enough to get you started. And practice makes perfect. We're all going to make mistakes. Technology will let us down inevitably. And so the last piece of advice I would like to give is to log on early before your session. Encourage your students to do the same so that you can resolve any problems with cameras or sound or microphones before the session begins.